What's up, party people? Once again, during this spooky season, your ghost host with the most, Lavender, has left the keys to my shackles unattended. But this time, I'm throwing the lid off of the dumpster fire, putting out my singed trash panda fur, and present my treasures. Hot garbage, anyone? Yes, party people, that's right. We have Nisha and Buddha from Hot Garbage True Crime Edition podcast. And if you don't know this dynamic duo, these artists of anarchy, the number one rated podcast by trash pandas all over the world, well, then let me tell you. Better yet, I'll let them tell you. Nisha, Buddha, say hi to the party people.
Hi, thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Gotta love giving you love each time.
I'm telling you, you guys. I've said it before. I'll say it a million times. Anybody that knows me in life has seen my posts. I am a number one trash panda. I love my trash, and you guys deliver.
You
You
have
guys
fought
deliver
your
the
way,
best.
kicking and screaming, to be the highest fan of ours.
Yes. We
Seriously.
love you so much.
I'm trying to be Buddha's Beyonce. Let's just be real.
Oh, okay.
Yes, awesome.
I may have walked on the rainbow path my whole life, but I know a good looking man when I see one.
She is wise.
Yes.
Wisdom.
Yeah. Buddha loves this.
I am susceptible to flattery. I will tell you that. And she's doing all the right things.
So, guys, if there's somebody out there who may actually not know who you are, I can't fathom that idea, though. Can you tell us where to find you? Tell us what you're about. Just give us some sound bites.
Yeah, so basically we're Hot Garbage True Crime, edition, and we every single Thursday we release an episode. So I'm a true crime junkie, so I talk all about the cases. And Buddha is my bestie, and he's along for the ride. He's not too much into murder like I am, but he's just like super funny, and he has a lot of analytical thoughts behind a lot of these cases, and it's great because it's a fresh set of eyes. A lot of these cases he's never heard of.
Right, and just because of her and me doing auditions, I am now going to be an actor comedian. So that is the guy that's on the side. I am the actor comedian that gives her relief. It started from me just being a crazy guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just when you have, and I will put it out there for everybody, you want to get a perfect storm, a perfect mixture of chemistry. It doesn't get better than Nisha and Buddha. I mean, well, Lav and I, but it doesn't get better than Nisha and Buddha.
Thank you. Well, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're anywhere you can find our podcast everywhere.
Right. She has it's a list: Hot Garbage True Crime,
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it as I've said it with some of our other podcast friends. If you can find me, if you can find Lavender, you can find Murder Juice, you can find Hot Garbage, because they're all over our page. But I also want to toss in there a little bit too, is I've been plugging Tubi a lot because your girl's been kind of down. So I've been having an awful lot of Tubi time. And Nisha is part of a Jeffrey Dahmer documentary that is on Tubi, and you can still find it on there. It is so entertaining. Even if you're not into serial killers, like my wife is not into serial killers, she actually came across it and was like, hey, have you ever seen this? And I'm like, yeah, my friend Nisha's in it. And she's like, cool, let's watch it. And she said based on Nisha, she really enjoyed it. So even if you're not a true crime fan, you got to check it out.
Oh, we love your wife.
Girl, I do. It was Nisha, and it was that one other podcaster too that they gave a lot of shine. But they should have gave you more of that camera time. I don't feel like they was giving you your props.
Oh well, I got two more coming out, so
I gotta agree.
Let's do this, girl. They better fly you out, and me too. Goddamn. I want to eat apples like I'm Jennifer Lopez.
Oh my god, I'm gonna put Buddha in my suitcase.
You better, girl. I'm telling you now. That's the true bond. You think I'm not gonna pull you in? I'm gonna not bring you along. You got to be in everything I'm in.
That's right. That's right. Because when we rise and we bring those with us, we rise together, then we're unstoppable. We are
real shit. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, you're gonna be in there too, girl. You don't even know how to act, but I'm gonna put your ass in there too.
I don't know. I mean,
because you being one of the number one of the one, like, nah, she part of the clique.
Yeah, she gotta be in a movie too, huh?
Or at least free meals while we filming the movie.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll just sit alongside and fangirl. That's even. I'll sit there with my little Coke Zero and my little bottle of Jack that we talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, then she is the Jack supplier. That part is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Her role will be paid for.
So, without further ado, because honestly, I could sit and talk to you guys all day, but let's get into this.
Yes.
Now, if you will, please indulge me through this Golden Girls reference. Picture it.
No, she didn't.
Detroit, 1990s. You're reading the morning paper over a cup of coffee when an advertisement catches your attention. It reads, quote, oppressed by a fatal disease, severe handicap, or deformity? Write to Dr. XXX. The X is not part of the advertisement. I'm putting that in because you're not going to get to know who Dr. X is until a little bit later. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Show compelling medical evidence that you should die, and this board medical doctor will help you free of charge. Now, Dr. XXX is not his real name. That will come later in the episode, like I said. But this was a real advertisement that circulated all around the United States during a very controversial movement circling the earth like a pandemic. Before we meet the man, let me introduce the movement. In the 1980s, a federation was formed by medical personnel from 25 countries. So these were doctors, nurses, surgeons, and it was their mission to secure ethical services for those who offered, but also who sought voluntary euthanasia. This movement was known as the right to die with dignity. So what happened is a lot of people were starting to have kind of second thoughts about when a loved one was put onto life support, that they would, that it wasn't ethical to take them off. But then there was also a lot that stood by and said, it's not ethical to leave them on.
I know I would have a hard time with that because that is hard. And I know depending on like what kind of insurance you have and stuff, there's only so long that they let you, keep your family member on life support. So for me, I don't think that I would pull the plug. I think that I would just let it run out until the hospital said to pull the plug. Because even though it's not my fault, I feel like that would still be on my conscience to a certain point. Because it feels like you're like giving up on your family member, even though they're telling you there's nothing else that can be done and they'll never wake up. You always have that hope,
And it is hard.
In your pockets.
What do you mean? You're talking about like paying and stuff like that. But no, that's why I said like depending on the whatever insurance you have. Sometimes they'll say, okay, we'll only keep them on here a week, or we'll keep them on for this long. But I'm not gonna pull the plug. I'm gonna let them like pull the plug based on it's run out.
I feel like he's reasonable. Before the plug is pulled, and you still got insurance money, pay him.
Mm.
Because come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You
and I
could have
mean,
$50 million. How much we about to spend into your ass just sitting here on life support? And I've seen people do that where they were so against it and putting their family money
Right.
where this person is literally still in a coma on a whole machine that even pumps their oxygen into their body.
So is that not realistic? Because I know movies make it seem like somebody could be in a coma for years and one day they just wake up. Does that never happen at all? Can that just...
It's not just coma.
So it is actually it is realistic. I know movies do romanticize it, but it is actually very realistic that a person can be on life support for many, many years. But that's where the question of quality of life comes in, integrity of skin, integrity of body, and also if this person does ever come out of this this coma, what is their life going to be like?
That was my question. So if they come out of this coma, can they come out as just a normal person like they were before, or will they always have some kind of problem?
It depends.
It depends.
I argue against the fact that this is Frankenstein syndrome. We are now arguing how far is life. If you're just sucking in air and exhaling, then you might be able to be a jelly fucking fish.
Oh, but jellyfishes are still alive though.
What do you know what a jellyfish do?
Because
it seems like they suck it in and float the fuck around.
No, I saw.
Is that what you want to do?
They're in the...
I mean, they're still alive too, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So, do you want to pay $100,000 a year for a jellyfish to be alive?
But, okay, but that's...
But all it does is suck in air and suck it out.
But then there's...
and float.
But the difference is there's some hope that your family member or your friend is going to wake up eventually. You don't know if they're going to wake up or not.
Some stuff, you did die.
Yeah, but you might come back alive years later. You're dead for...
Hear what you're saying. How much money you got?
Well, I don't have any money now, but I'm saying, let's say, okay, I'm gonna say, let's say I was on Bill Gates level, or let's say you're on Elon Musk level.
Girl,
if your family members here, you're not gonna sit here and pay.
About to be sitting here around sucking my toes too.
Okay,
talk about I'm a pay. Yes, of course I can pay for someone's life. You know what I do? I have a royal man that wipes my butt. If you're talking about on that level, let's talk about that level.
What I'm saying. So. Oh my
God. Financial factor of
case.
Who's important.
Let's just hear the case. Let's just hear what because you done made me mad. See what I have to go through? This is what I go through.
Yeah.
Your life has a dollar sign. That's what you just...
That's not what I was saying.
That's what you said.
That's not what the hell I said.
Okay, so
what she said.
As you guys can hear, these kind of decisions are very controversial. And I mean, they were so controversial that families took other family members, took doctors, took hospitals, took insurance companies to court. And there were times that their loved ones actually kind of proved or disproved their case. So just as controversial as it was in the 80s and the 90s, the right to die is basically the opinion that a person of sound mind or their legal representative could choose to end their life with a doctor's help. So basically, and even now in 2024, even now there are states, because there was just kind of like the same with same-sex marriage, is there was such a big ordeal about it that the Supreme Court finally just said, you know what, we're going to do this. We're taking it off of the federal level. We're going to put it to the states. And if you want to accept it and you want it to be okay, then that's on you and that's perfectly fine. So they put it up to the state.
And now, I know they do that, like, I think in England too. It's like England, or it's one of like Paris or something where you can pick if you want to die.
Yes.
But you got it, yeah.
Now, this could be due to an incurable terminal illness or uncontrollable, incurable pain for an individual who had exhausted all avenues of treatment. And all those avenues had to have been proven traveled before voluntary euthanasia would be granted. But some of the states that do allow it still are California and Oregon, Washington, and Colorado. There's a few back east, but there's not as many as here on the West Coast. So in this, the Right to Die movement, there have been 3 landmark cases. And I think both Nisha, you and Buddha will find these very interesting because it actually supports both of your. So there have been 3 landmark cases in this movement. And the first being of Carrie Quanlen. Now, excuse me, I said Carrie, I meant Karen Quanlen. So what happened is Karen, after a hard night out drinking, and this was the 70s, so this was, we didn't really know what narcotics did to us. I mean, and now is, we didn't know what cocaine did. We didn't know what crack did. We didn't know what methamphetamines did. I mean, methamphetamines used to be prescribed as weight loss supplements. Like you could go to the doctor, go to a nutritionist. The nutritionist would give you a prescription to go to an herbalist, and the herbalist literally put methamphetamine into a capsule. So, but Karen unfortunately slips into a coma and is unable to independently sustain her life. So in this coma in bed, she was not breathing on her own. She had brain waves. So she had brain thought. She had thought patterns happening. But as far as breathing on her own, she couldn't do that. So they put her family, the hospital put her on a feeding tube and put her on a ventilator. Okay. Now, Karen's family was very divided. Karen's mother wanted her on the life support because she was not convinced that Karen would not wake up. Karen's father, though, after talking with many, many medical professionals, thought he knew what was going to happen. And so he went to court. And it was a very lengthy and very expensive court case. But he ended up winning. And so he won against Karen's mother and family. And so they went to remove the tube, and they removed the ventilator tube, and they removed the feeding tube.
And how long has she been on already on the life support?
So now this had been, she'd went into the coma in 1975. So she had been on for about a month to 2 months.
Oh, wow. Because that's a quick turnaround for a court case. That's why I was like, what?
It was.
You do know about the court cases.
And I think it was because there was no real evidence either way. So the court, the reason that the court stepped out and said, okay, we're just going to award it to him, was because there had never been a case like this before. Nobody had ever gone to court and said, look, I want my loved one still on these machines.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Karen didn't die.
Wow. After she got unplugged, she didn't die?
In fact, she lived 9 more years.
What? And was she normal?
No.
Everything was
in a coma.
No, she said that they pulled the thing off and then she woke up.
No.
No, she said she didn't die.
She didn't die.
After they Oh, so she was still in the coma for 9 years?
Yes. She was in a coma for 9 years. And
Wow.
this was 9 years of she still needed to be tube fed. So, and tube feedings are very rough on a body. Because you have to put in a stoma, which is an opening in the body. There has to be a feeding tube outside of it. And somebody has to, continuously take care of this. So even though she did not pass away after removing her from life support, she still needed an additional 9 years of medical care, and medical care that had to be performed in the home.
My God. Oh my God.
And then,
so it's like, damn, that's awful.
And this is if you're rich, you just force them to have to do that, huh?
Anyways, what, Buddha, be quiet. I'm sure that we're going to hear more information.
Well, and
there's something else coming.
The thing of it is that she did pass away naturally. But the thing of it is, I don't know if a lot of people, if people do know, forgive me for giving out like repetitive information, but when you are stuck in a bed, regardless of how many times you are turned, you will develop pressure sores. So no matter how cushiony the bed is, how much air is going through it, I mean, medically, we are trying to figure out how to sustain long-term bedridden patients so that their skin doesn't break down. But unfortunately, the human skin is not meant to be laid on with all of its weight all the time. And let's be realistic. I mean, to keep skin breakdown from happening, you have to turn every 2 hours. Can you truly, Buddha or Nisha, can you guys truly see a time, a day that you have 2 hours that you literally can just sit around and count the clock and
because from my understanding, they don't even do that in hospitals. I think I don't know how often they turn them in hospitals, but I know it's not every 2 hours, is it?
It's supposed to be. But every 2.
Trust me, Buddha is a man of finance, and you can't afford me.
Oh my God. That's so awful.
But
that's so awful.
Yeah. The next case. Now this one may kind of Buddha, you may want to chime in on this one. So Nancy Cruzan was as opposite of a case as you could get in this time frame. She actually was in a car accident in 1983, but it took 7 years in court to finally allow her doctor to remove the tube. So her family did not want the tube removed. So they as well were people of finance. And they had private money, they had insurance money, they had trust fund money. And for 7 years, she laid in a hospital with no signs of life. None. Nothing that a machine didn't give her.
Oh my God, this is like changing my opinion about some stuff. I mean, honestly, like this is very rough because it's like, you know what I mean? I always thought of stuff differently. Like, okay, if my family member, like, I always want to keep that hope, but I didn't realize, like, somebody laying in a bed for years and years and years with no sign, even if they do wake up, they're not going to be the same, and then their skin and everything's messed up, and it's just
right.
So it's going to be a different kind of torture.
Well, and also too, what a lot of people don't realize,
finances that you can pay to be able to make sure to keep that up.
I mean, of course, it also goes down too as well. it's a strange kind of correlation, but it's one that a lot of people who haven't been in the medical field understand. Is Nisha, you're a mom, Buddha, you're a dad. You've changed diapers several millions of times. And every now and then, maybe there was a little too much moisture, or maybe the poop was a little too runny, and your skin gets a little chafe, your baby's little bottom gets a little raw. But they're in and out of that diaper pretty fast. So
right.
If you're a good parent, yeah.
If you're a good parent, but that's what we're gonna say, is that these are not bad people at all. But adult humans are not meant to be incontinent. Unfortunately, our bodies do it anyway.
Preach it, girl.
But
you got to say something deep right here.
But when an adult human has to be in a brief, which is an adult-sized diaper, they are more susceptible to urinary tract infections, kidney infections, kidney breakdown, skin breakdown.
Oh my God. And this is no matter how many times it's changed.
No, no, it's unfortunate because
as an adult, we don't have, it's the same things why adults are actually more lactose intolerant. Majority are actually 95% of adults actually shouldn't drink milk. Even though it's something you do for adult in childhood. But you adopt it to something that you understand it does your vitamin good, because they have a campaigning company selling for their company and selling it out. But in actuality, almost all us adults don't digest milk like that. And it's scientifically proved that we don't digest it the same as babies.
And also, too, another strange analogy, but as humans, we're kind of also like cars, because when we're babies and we're born, what happens? We're freshly built. We haven't experienced anything yet, so our skin is still elastic. It's still very tough. Do we need to be taken care of? Yes, we do, so that we can mature and grow. So what I was saying is that as a brand new car, you get off the showroom, your tires are fresh, your engine's running, you've never suffered anything. You've never overheated, you've never gone empty. It's always been streamlined.
Right.
As adults, and this is such an unpopular, opinion, but it's the truth, is from the day that we are born, we begin to die.
It's in the Bible.
Yes. Because we adapt to our environment. Our environment does not adapt to us. So what happens?
We are beings in a vessel.
Yes. So what happens is you go outside as a little kid, and you've never been sunburned. You get your first sunburn. What happens? It hurts. You don't like it. You start putting sunblock on. And then you get to be a little bit of an unruly teenager, and you're like, you know what? Fuck the sunblock. I'm good. I'm going to go out. I'm going to just do whatever I want to do. We don't always bathe as well as we should. Our skin gets damaged by the sun. Our hair gets damaged by the products that we use. And this is not like a spiel for healthy living. This is it's just life.
That's the spiel for average parenting.
Right.
You tell your kids, we all as parents tell us kids this stuff. Like, don't jump off the swings. Don't go out without sunscreen. Don't, go bathing out there and play in the grass with could potentially be poison ivy. It's the long-term stuff of what we're saying, even if we're grades in high school. Craziest thing. Even when we're talking about your high school grades. You know why? Because we wish we got it better then. Why? Because that has a long-term effect that you guys can't fucking see.
Absolutely.
To this
Absolutely.
day, my collarbone is fucking fractured, and it was affecting me to go to the NFL. I was one of the highest draft picks on that shit. I was in the top 10. I'm telling you, just stuff I did as a child feeling invincible.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to be a potential LeBron, and then F that shit off. I said F and then I said shit. That's so funny.
That's okay, because we're an 18 and over anyway, so you know. I drop so many F bombs. I think people just don't even hear it anymore. But so
we are the protagonists in this whole thing. It sounds like we're trying to keep you in the shell, but to make it in this life, you have to get a shell.
Right. Now, does that mean you should never be exposed to anything? Absolutely not. That's why we have the antibodies that we do. That's why our bodies can fight colds and flus and, just eating bad Thai food. I mean, this is why. It's because we expose ourselves. But at the same time, like Buddha just said, and is 1,000% right, there is long-term effects. And one of the long-term effects is we are not meant to be incontinent. But unfortunately,
we are being beyond our moment.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So what ended up happening with Nancy was after 7 years, and the courts finally did say to the doctors, yes, you can remove the tube. This has been too long. We understand that she's not coming back from this. The doctors went with her family, and her family was there, and they removed the tube. And within moments, on December 26, 1990, Nancy passed away very peacefully with her family. Now, as you can imagine, or maybe already be thinking, the 70s, 80s, 90s was prime time true crime time, because the United States was infected with its own pandemic, the era of the modern serial killer. And the Right to Die movement gave birth to, or maybe just made, this late in life doctor a killer. So, Buddha, Nisha, remember our news ad from a moment ago?
Yeah.
When a person answered the ad and requested service, a small, unassuming man, an older man with kind eyes, would arrive in his beige Volkswagen bus. Inside that bus was equipped with a cot, soft lighting.
What's a cot?
A cot, like a mattress.
A cot.
Yeah. So basically a bed. It's like he showed up with a bed. And and there was soft lighting, any kind of music you wanted. And then, quotes, Dr. Death would offer the patient a lethal injection or a gas mask. Coining the phrase, dying is not a crime, is a man connected to as many as 130 deaths. Was he a serial killer? We'll let you all decide. So, party people and trash pandas alike, hot garbage, and early on Wednesday, bring you, in this spooky season, Dr. Jack Kevorkian, also known as the face of assisted euthanasia. What makes Dr. Kevorkian so creepy is what makes many serial killers terrifying. He was nice. He was sweet and kind, even. Until he wasn't. Dr. Kevorkian was involved in so many cases, the real death toll is forever unknown. But 60% of the ones known to authorities were not for documented terminal illness cases.
Mm.
In fact, most of these people were not totally ill at all. In 1990, Dr. Death was arrested and charged with second-degree murder in the death of Janet Atkins, who at 54, so she was just 4 years older than me. At 54, decided to choose voluntary euthanasia over living with Alzheimer's. Now he was acquitted for the murder, but the medical.
He decided to choose them.
But the medical.
Yeah, like
they took his
Let's
license.
let her finish.
Okay.
The medical board took his license indefinitely. So even when he was going out and he's still promoting himself as Dr. Kevorkian, he was not a doctor. Thoughts, guys?
That's the only thing. He didn't actually have the licensing.
Yeah, that's the only thing, because he didn't have the license, but she still wanted to.
So now, of course, good old Dr. Kevorkian, losing his license didn't hinder him at all. He actually went on and did all the cases that we talked about, the 130, 150 that they do contribute to him. But there were 19 more without a medical evaluation, without a terminal illness at all. So
are you saying, like, are these people that was asking to die?
Yes.
Or like, but he just didn't have his licensing, basically, but they still wanted to die, right?
They still wanted to die.
Okay.
But it was supposed to be the whole thing that protected the medical professional that was helping was the fact that there were terminal illnesses. So to be able to distinguish it literally between, euthanasia, assisted suicide, and murder was the fact that these people were on an undeniable path that they were dying.
Oh, so at some point, like, let's say I go in there and maybe I'm just having a horrible day. Are you saying that I could ask Dr. Kevorkian and he would just kill me?
He would have. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's where it draws the line, because at that point it's like, you're not supposed to be helping me commit suicide. If I wasn't going to die, like, maybe I'm mad because my husband just divorced me. You mean they would just go in there and ask him and he would just kill them all?
Yep.
Because that's when it becomes a gray line, because you're supposed to be doing that to people that's already dying, not people that's depressed. Because if that's the case, like, we're supporting suicide at that point.
And as you'll hear, sometimes we supported murder. Esther Cohen was 46. Linda Hensley was 48. And both of them were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is progressive, but it can be a very slow progression. You can live 20, 30 years healthy and a fulfilled life. And they asked for euthanasia and they got it. Ruth Newman was morbidly obese, was a type 2 diabetic with slight, and I mean slight, like this didn't affect her life other than it was an inconvenience. But she had had a slight stroke from being an uncontrolled diabetic, being extremely obese, to a point where she actually had to do a little bit more work to take care of herself. She called Dr. Kevorkian. He assisted her suicide. Now here's where things start to get a little muddy. Nicholas Loving was 27 years old, and Thomas Hyde was 30. Both had been diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. This again, it's a serious disease, but it is very manageable. You can have a very long life, and you can live a very fulfilled life with ALS. Thomas had spoken of suicide prior to contacting Dr. Kevorkian. So he already had a disposition for self-harm. And Dr. Kevorkian showed up, and Nicholas died listening to Pink Floyd holding his mother's hand. And Thomas chose not to.
Oh.
And Thomas died anyway.
He didn't.
Oh, wow. So he changed his mind, but Dr. Kevorkian still killed him.
Yes. Because what isn't widely known, unless you do the deep digging, and then also I got a little surprise for you guys at the end of this. Dr. Kevorkian didn't always give his patients 100% control of the gas or the lethal injection.
Oh, so that was my question. What?
Well, I mean, you can't.
Well, I was gonna ask, how did they know? Because he died. So how did they know he changed his mind at the last minute? Was there like a documented record?
Yes, it was his mother.
Oh, his mom. Okay, damn.
His mother testified. His mother testified.
No.
So can I ask if his mom? So if he changed his mind and he told his mom, was there nothing that his mother could do to then stop?
No, because what happened is
his mother is always gonna feel like he changed his mind.
Well,
and would live.
There's actually
whose mom is not saying.
There's actually
whose mom
evidence.
saying kill my baby.
Well, no, there's actually evidence, because what happened is that most of the time when the patients went out to Kevorkian's van, the door was shut. They were given as much time as they wanted, but this man's doing it for free, so he's kind of like, I got to get to the next person. But when it came to Thomas Hyde, he actually had set up and was trying to open the door when Kevorkian pushed the button on the gas.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
So, okay, so, oh my God.
Say what you gonna say.
So I was just going to ask, because I wanted to kind of picture this, because this whole time when I hear Dr. Kevorkian, I'm picturing, okay, they're laying out, they have an IV, kind of like, lethal injection, with death row inmates, that this is going in. So are you saying that they're like, basically they're closed in, and when they're ready, they're the ones that injects them on cells?
Yes.
Is that what happened?
That was what was supposed to happen.
He's the executioner.
Yeah.
But Dr. Kevorkian also had a dual line. So imagine this. There's one line that goes in with its own controller. There was one line out with its own controller. And that was, as he testified, that was in case the terminal patient could not muster the strength to push the button.
Wow. Oh my God.
You know what?
That's wild.
I'm looking on Dr. Kaviz, and he didn't do his market plan right.
No.
On some real. If I'm going to give you the button to kill yourself, I'm going to give you the injection, I'm going to give you the medical stuff and equipment. If you decide not to, bitch, you still gotta pay me.
He was doing it free.
And no, you did it for free. You paid me though. You still gotta pay me though. You signed all the documents.
That's right.
So then next month, when you decide you want to kill yourself again, we just start this all over. You may get a discount for being a repeat customer, but motherfucker, no.
Maybe
like, yeah, go ahead. I will pay it as if your ass did die.
Oh my God.
Give me that. Yeah, and don't push the button. Okay. I'ma just pack my shit up and pay me. And after you rethought that shit, and then call me 2 years later, like, my wife divorced me. You want me to come back again?
But
that's true.
But
bruh, and I have my shit locked ironclad.
And now we're thinking. Now that I'm talking about this, I'm surprised so many people did follow through, because I didn't know that they had control of their own button. So that takes a lot to go ahead and just do
I
it.
had you sign so much paperwork, bruh. I look like a real estate agent.
So remember Janice Atkins that we were talking about, that he was charged with second degree murder. He was acquitted, but he was charged with it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So the reason that her case was so controversial is because Dr. Kevorkian did not consult Janet if she wanted to die. He consulted her husband.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy. Now, see, at this point, he's just straight killing people.
I'm going to read you some more, just a couple more. And then I'll reveal to you the little twist at the end of this.
Oh, there's a twist. I love twists.
I know you do.
I do too.
I know
right
you
now,
do.
I'm on.
So Rebecca Badge and Lisa Lansing were both opioid addicts. So they called Dr. Kevorkian to actually, because they thought that he supplied opioids for the euthanasia, and they actually found out pretty fast that he wasn't playing around. There was no, you're gonna get, like Buddha said, you're not gonna spend on my dime.
Right. So they thought that's messed up, because they went for one thing and he was about to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Or not get the pay.
Well, Judith Corinne was an RN, and she had suffered from deep depression. She was a victim of domestic violence, and she was drowning in debt. And so her solution was to call Dr. Kevorkian.
Damn, because she was
not terminally ill at all.
That is just to kill him. Smart.
And the last case, last case, I think will really, really give you guys an insight to who Jack Kevorkian really was. It changed everything. In 2003, Hugh Gale was 70 years old when he was diagnosed with emphysema. He contacts Dr. Kevorkian, who arrives in his deathmobile. Hugh, by all believed, he had exercised his right to voluntary euthanasia, until his wife found balled up notes in the waste paper basket written by Hugh. They expressed Hugh's desire to stop the euthanasia, and Dr. Kevorkian ignored them. This time, Dr. Kevorkian would not escape prosecution. It was discovered that Dr. Kevorkian was practicing without a license, without authorization, and in Hugh's case, without consent. After a short 2-day trial, Jack Kevorkian was sentenced to 10 to 25 years. In 2006, it was discovered that Dr. Kevorkian was in liver failure due to hepatitis C. Now, he would be compassionately released in 2007 and would go on to live and actually run for Congress until 2011, where he ended up with a blood clot in his lungs and passed away.
Kevorkian in 2011? Dr. Kevorkian was alive?
Yeah.
In 2011?
Yep.
I'm talking about 192.
But here you go.
This is ancient.
What
are you saying?
Jack Kevorkian died in 2011. He met the Grim Reaper thanks to hepatitis C.
Whoa, that's a twist.
Oh no, that's not the twist.
Prison doesn't really.
Oh, wait, that's not even a twist.
Believe. And that's the part of that ain't the twist.
There's a twist.
That ain't the twist.
We gotta listen to the twist. This is crazy.
Welcome.
I thought that was the twist that he died.
No, girl.
I gotta hear the twist.
I'm a Dalmatian. I already know.
No, we have to hear the twist.
I'm excited for it. I knew it was a twist.
Yes.
Okay, so in 2015, Zach Baggins from Ghost Encounters, as we like to call him Zach motherfucking Baggins, purchased Kevorkian's.
You are so cool.
Purchased Kevorkian's 1968 Volkswagen Deathmobile. My wife last year for my 49th birthday took me on the RIP access. So we stood in the room with the infamous death band.
So you were actually there with did you get to get in it?
You could have, but I didn't. But when you go into the exhibit, it's surrounded by the pictures of all of the people that lost their life involuntarily to him.
My God.
And
Lisa, what type of dreams are you?
So what all was in the exhibit besides his bed? Like what else is a part of this exhibit?
So the whole van is part of the exhibit. And
it was death everywhere.
Yes.
What did you want them to do?
No, I'm talking about like when you
it's
first
just watered down.
I'm talking about when you first go in. Like, what do somebody walk you through?
Yes,
right. When you first walk in, there's a hanging child.
Oh my!
This type of stuff.
I have to hear this. I didn't get to go on the tour.
I was at the exhibit, and I'm telling you now.
I want to hear from somebody that was at this.
There was a hanging child, and then there was a horse meant for luck that was shot in the face twice.
Oh my God!
Just walking down the street, and a grandma. All of them. Before you walk 3 feet in there, they're there.
And those are your
what happened.
And those are your.
This is what you want, though.
And those are your tour guides. No, so what happens is for the RIP, the All Access Tour, is they have, like Buddha said, they have the watered down tour where they basically, the tour guide walks you through, gives you a tiny 2-second spiel, and then moves you through. But the RIP, you get to stay, you get to hang out. You get to go into the places nobody else gets to go.
Oh, Nisha's RIP.
Oh, I want.
And that was why my wife did the RIP tour, is so I could get my hands, because I had been talking about Baggins' museum forever, and so she did this, and so when we went to go in, the other tourists, they walked through, they got a peek of it, and they got our tour guide, because ours was different. She took us in. She showed us the inside. Like, we could look in the van. If we wanted to get in the van, we could get in the van. But every piece of equipment, the blankets, the pillows, the lights, the machines, everything was authentic. Nothing.
I'm not touching that.
Oh my God! Is that why you didn't? I wouldn't touch this stuff.
No.
Is that why you didn't get in?
No, I wouldn't touch it. But
yes, you did. You know you did. You know you cursed yourself.
Yes, you did. As you're standing in the room and you're looking at all these people, the mindset comes to you that they weren't willing. They didn't go. They didn't go softly into the light. This was not what they wanted. They were not sick.
Ooh, that's the biggest curse.
Yeah.
And
gosh damn.
There was a heaviness I'm a skeptic. I'm a natural skeptic. And all throughout the museum, a lot of it was kind of hokey. A lot of it was just fun. A lot of it was like, if you're a dark tourist and you like the cursed objects, then it's definitely for you. And I loved the whole tour. I'm not knocking it at all. I loved it. But
where's this at? Like,
it's in Vegas.
City is
girl, because I'm gonna go.
It's in Vegas.
Don't act like I'm.
Yeah, it's in Vegas.
I've been to Vegas hella times. I don't
How the fuck out of Vegas?
Is that new or something?
Oh, it's been there for a long time. It's been there for a while.
How come I didn't know about that?
Girl,
I've been there multiple times.
I'm not gonna touch it, but show the fuck I'm going.
Here's the thing.
So you don't make me punk out. I'm in there.
Here's the thing. When we went in, and I'm standing there, there was a heaviness. Have you ever? I'm sure you guys have, but you remember getting like you get off on in an airplane, you get in an airport, you're in an area totally different than you've ever been in, and all of a sudden you step outside of the airport and it's so humid you can't breathe.
Yeah,
that's what this room.
Oh my God, when I went to Florida,
You such a Cali girl.
I went to Florida.
That's why.
Yeah, that's what this room.
Like there was this like, so I took my kids to what Disney World. And I forgot not to go. Well, we have to go in the summer because my daughter has school, and I completely forgot about the humidity. And it was just like, oh my God, it's it's suffocating. So that's how you felt at the museum.
That's how that
like the heavy.
And you also.
So
I'm looking at
the whole museum wasn't like that. It was literally just Kevorkian's room. But
so what? Was there any other? What other killers was at the museum?
Oh wow, he has a he's got a portrait of Charles Manson that has been, it was painted with Charles Manson's ashes in the paint.
Oh, what? He got Charles Manson's ashes in the paint?
He also has Ted Bundy's murder kit.
The authentic murder kit?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to call Cap. Like that's a 2 for 2. That's
I gotta go.
Oh yeah. And when you go, let me know because we've got some pretty sweet.
Yeah, I want to go back. We need to plan a trip.
Because we've got some pretty sweet accommodations that are you wouldn't have to worry about hotel.
Oh, I'm gonna go, but I'm not gonna be that nice guy that's helping. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna look at this shit, and most of this shit I'm not believing.
What?
You gotta show me how you get the ashes. His body ashes.
But you said it yourself. Money talks. Money talks. This.
So obviously somebody bought the ashes.
Well, what happened is what happened is when his ashes were given to his next of kin. His next of kin are 2 sons, and they had once a killer is dead, they don't profit from their crime anymore, but the family can. So his sons.
Oh, because Charles Manson can't profit if he writes a book.
That's right.
But that's a good idea.
But his son can.
That's a good idea. We are all sick. You know what? This is about to be it. Shoot me in the face, Nisha. I'm told.
Only if we get to put you out the museum.
Girl, if you don't make me live through this shit, you are a bad co-host.
Why don't I shoot you in the arm then if you want to live? Why you want to be shot in the face?
Oh, it has to be some murder trial shit.
Oh my God.
You had to go to jail for 1.5 years and come back out like Tupac. And be the greatest of all time.
Oh my God.
You guys,
do this fucking shit. I'm gonna flirt with your girl. You get mad and shoot me. Right? That's what I'm saying. Or a Cuban guy. And he has sweat dripping out off the tip of his 6-pack or 8-pack dick. And then he likes me more than he likes you. And you shoot me in the face. That's a deeper drama than it. Like one of my hangers shot me in the face. Couldn't kill me. You know how gangster? I would be Optimus Prime. Like I'd be the gangster of all gangsters. Shoot me in the face.
Yeah, but you may look like Skeletor though.
Oh, that's right.
But I mean, shit, doesn't Tupac? Like,
as we say goodbye to our friends Nisha and Buddha, and we close the lid on our dumpster fire, I leave you with this. Life asked death, Why does everyone love me but hate you? Death replies, because you're a beautiful lie and I'm a hard truth. Catch us on the flip side, guys.